It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out, and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
All right, we're all the way live right here at WHPR 160 Victor Street. Thank you so much for tuning in to Feedback, a positive image production by Hood Research. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research, and my co-host
Thabiti, and we welcome you to the program.
And I want to first thank all of you who are kind enough to help sponsor this program. And for those of you who are considering it, please make your check or money order out to Hood Research. If you prefer, you can make it out to WHPR Broadcasting Company. We have no objection to that. But we do ask that you mail it to Hood Research at P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204. Again, to Hood Research at P.O. Box 4416, Detroit, Michigan 48204. We want to make sure that it gets credited for this particular program. I want to say good morning to Rosa and to Barbara and Vera. And I want to say good morning to Sam and to all of those of you who came to the Hood Research meeting where we lifted up the fathers. And we often hear that mothers get more attention on Mother's Day than fathers do. But we made sure that at that meeting we lifted up the fathers, and everyone had a wonderful time, enjoyed the refreshments and the prizes and the presentation of Kona Gardens by Mr. Orland Jones. This coming Saturday, Hood Research is going to do a Black History tour in the city of Detroit. This will be the fourth Black History tour that we have done. We've been to Canada. We've done the Underground Railroads. We have done the trip to Battle Creek to meet Sojourner Truth. Sojourner Truth lived there the last 30 years of her life, we're told. And we wanted to see the city in which she lived and learn about her. And after we heard that a 12-foot statue was erected to her in 2006, it was amazing. It cost $750,000, and the woman died in 1883. So the people of Battle Creek must have really loved Sojourner Truth as we do. There's a number of things that are going on, but Thabiti, there were some people you wanted to say good morning to.
I'd like to say good morning and shout outs to Sister Sheila Ragland, Sister Frida Washington, Brother Smith Bay, Brother Fred, Ruth Ann, Shane, Jackie, and as I always ask, have your friends, neighbors, families, co-workers tune in. Also have pen and paper handy for valuable information you may want to record.
Absolutely. And I can't forget to say good morning to Dee Dee and to Tyrone Allen and to Sylvia and all of those who helped to make this program and Hood Research the strong organization that it is. And this year, for those of you who may not know, Hood Research is now 26 years old. The issues that have been going on over the airwaves recently include the Mexicans who are coming for asylum to the United States. And the president seems to have given a directive so that the children are separated from the parents and locked up in cages. In cages. They don't want you to see the children locked up in cages, but there were some members of Congress who did have an opportunity to go and view some of the inhumane treatment in person. They went in person to witness the inhumane treatment. And there are those who say, oh, well, it's illegal. They shouldn't come over here illegally. And the president wants to build a wall, I guess, so that when it comes time for re-election, he can say he kept that promise. No matter how many people it kills, injures, etc. As long as he does that. Now, the members of Congress are holding back on that, and rightly so. It's interesting to me that there has been no effort that we're aware of any significance to help Central America or South America build its economy so that the residents there wouldn't have to consider coming across the border to the United States where they think is so wonderful. They would be able to work in their own countries. It's also interesting that the corporations aren't saying anything because they want the cheap labor. Oh yeah, let them come over here, we'll pay them pennies, and then we will send them back home. You know, they claim that they want them to come here and work because the people in this country don't want those jobs. I don't think it's a matter of not wanting the jobs. I think it's a matter of a living wage that needs to be paid on those jobs. So we continue to hear the propaganda and the stereotypes of the Mexicans. You know, it's like those dirty people coming here. But it's funny that there's no effort to build a wall between Canada and the United States. I wonder why. Canada and the United States. The last time I checked, there were 4,000 people who come to the United States. Well, let's say this. 4,000 people are coming into Detroit to work from Canada. From Canada. 4,000 people. Seems to me that they're providing work here that Detroiters and Wayne County workers and other people around here could do. That's interesting. I wonder, something to check the beating. Do Canadians pay city taxes? Are they taken out of their checks, or just are they under contracts, which means that they would have to voluntarily pay city tax, state tax, federal tax? After all, they're getting tax money when they come here, when they work in the hospitals and other areas that they choose here in the city of Detroit, the county of Wayne. Nobody talks about Canadians taking jobs from others here. I find that kind of interesting. We don't have the same kind of strict investigations because we continue to hear about the kidnapping and the sex slave trafficking that goes on through Michigan. Let's think about that. You don't hear much about it. You don't hear a lot about the body parts that are sold either through here. But there's a lot of conversation about let's build this wall between the United States and Mexico because guess who wants to come here? And there's a person who is doing some research, and they're not finding a lot of crime or any higher crimes being committed by them, the Mexicans who come here, those who come here looking for jobs and asylum. There's more crime committed by American-born citizens than the other ethnic groups that come to this country. Go figure. But there is the stereotype that's put off on them. Something to think about. You know, I think I mentioned this last week, and it bears mentioning again, and that is the single cigarette sale, the Lucy, if you will. Single cigarettes are sold in gas stations and stores, and the seal is on the pack of cigarettes for a reason. Supposedly, when they come from the factory, they're in sanitary condition. But when a person goes in a gas station and wants to buy one cigarette, first of all, you don't know if the clerk handling the cigarette has washed his or her hands thoroughly when they go to the toilet or not. But they take the cigarette out, they lay it on the counter. The counter is nasty. The money that's laid on the counter is nasty. But yet they sell you a single cigarette that you're going to turn around and put in your mouth. That's gross. The police department does not seem to be getting a handle on the single cigarette, which is called a Lucy, or any of the other items that are sold individually at these locations. They seem to turn a blind eye. However, the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Department of the federal government should receive a call if you see that happening in a gas station or a store. And a telephone number for them is a 313 number, 202-3640. Again, it's 313-202-3640. You should call and report it. It needs to be stopped. If it's illegal, it needs to be stopped. If it's unhealthy, it needs to be stopped. We have epidemic proportions of hepatitis A, hepatitis C, not to mention other diseases around here. And if they're passed by that manner, the fecal manner and all of that, you don't need to be buying single cigarettes. They don't need to be selling single cigarettes. Besides, it's illegal. And the telephone number of the ATF is 313-202-3640. 313-202-3640. We have a guest with us this morning, Miss Leah Gordon, and she's going to tell us about herself and about the project that's going on that may help those in our community. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. Tell us, who is Leah Gordon?
So I work at Livonia Michigan Works, the one-stop center on Plymouth Road between Middlebelt and Merriman. And we are hosting a youth job fair this Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are encouraging everyone ages 14 and up to come out, at least get the experience of being and experiencing a job fair, but we'll also have employers for that age range. We'll also have employers that are felony friendly. We'll have part-time employers, full-time employers, and seasonal employers as well.
When you say employers who are felony friendly, what does that mean?
So that means if you have a misdemeanor or a felony, these companies kind of give you a second chance, a second opportunity to be able to have a living wage, as you spoke of earlier.
Okay, now Livonia Works, is that connected to Michigan Works at all?
Yes, we are a Michigan Works one-stop center.
Okay. Now, if a person wants to participate, where is it located?
We are located at 30246 Plymouth Road in Livonia, Michigan.
30246. Okay. Now, is there transportation that goes straight out Plymouth Road to that 30246?
So the city of Livonia does not offer public transit. However, there is a public transportation that stops right at the Walmart across the street from us. So there is a bus stop right across the street at the Walmart and Target Plaza right there on Plymouth Road. However, you wouldn't go any further into the city of Livonia. Yes.
And that is-
30246 Plymouth Road.
And you
yes.
said between Middlebelt and Merriman?
Yes.
So if the bus stops there, there's not that far a walking distance? 'Cause I know, the shopping plaza is over on Middle Belt, so, and I'm not really sure. I think there may be a span of a mile between Middle Belt and Merriman.
It's directly across the street from our office.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. The preparation, I think you said there was something about preparation for a job available.
Yes. So a lot of times people believe that youth that never worked wouldn't be able to create or build a resume. We are
Okay.
offering resume workshops for the youth. So their preparation for the job fair. So they're going on today, the 18th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So there's 2 different sessions. And then also on the 19th, same time. We do ask that you register. We have a link on our Twitter page and our Facebook page available for the youth to sign up, but we will allow some walk-ins, but we do want to ensure that everyone has a nice, comfortable seat to be able to sit down and type up their resume with the assistance of our staff.
Now, is there a phone number as well? We always discuss the fact that some people, although the youth are pretty much, let's say, internet and that savvy in that respect, but is there a phone number also that they can call, or maybe someone who's listening who wants to share the information with someone else?
Absolutely. Our telephone number is 734-793-6170.
Once again.
Give it again.
734-793-6170.
Okay. There is a need for assistance for our people of all ages, actually, when it comes to be prepared for an interview for a job. Now, I think that it's also good for our folks to think about being in business for themselves. But even if that is their goal, and they start out being employed by someone as they save their income and learn their trade, etc., that preparation is good. Now, is there something that is on the website to tell those who want to participate what they should bring, how they should look, what they should do if they're coming today or tomorrow?
Excuse me. Absolutely. There are, on our flyer, we also encourage everyone to bring a resume or dress professional or business casual at the very least. Again, we just want to allow the youth to have the experience of being at and participating in a job fair. So we want everybody to know how to put their best foot forward. So if you do attend the resume or preparation workshop, it's not just about building a resume. We go over interview questions. We show the youth how to create that 30-second elevator pitch when they walk up to the booths and how to introduce themselves. We even go as far as practicing appropriate handshakes, making eye contact, things of that nature.
Oh, okay. Now tell me, what is business casual in 2018?
Wow. Business casual in 2018 would be something of a khaki pant, any type of shirt with a collar, a nice neutral color shoe. It doesn't have to not be a sneaker, but it would be best if it wasn't. So you could wear a nice pair of khakis with a nice work boot and a nice polo collar shirt. That would be appropriate. A lot of times the new growing trend is to dress for the job that you're applying for. So of course you wouldn't dress for a high-low position and wear the jumpsuit that you would wear in the factory, but you also wouldn't go to a factory job interview with a three-piece, suit on.
I got you.
Yes.
And something that I have heard over the years about these gym shoes. At one time there was a young man, friend of my children, who wore his gym shoes to school, and the teacher, of course, was no, you don't do that here. And he says he just didn't understand it because his gym shoes were $200, and any pair of dress shoes that he had, or I guess was in his closet or would buy, would be a lot less than $200. So he just couldn't understand what the objection was. So I'm like, oh wow. And over time, it seems now that there's not as much complaint about these expensive gym shoes as there was originally when they came out. And at one time, gym shoes was what, about $3? Something
Inexpensive for
like,
sure.
yeah, very. And now they don't seem to have any limit for
They don't.
the cost of them anymore. But I understand the Chrissy, casual concern. Can you give us an example of a 30-second, what'd you say, elevator speech?
So an
Talk about
example
that.
of a 30-second elevator pitch would be, I guess I would do my own. So I would say, hi, my name is Leah Gordon. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I think I would be a great asset to your company. I'm interested in working for your company because, and then you would go on to, if you were to give it an example or have any type of knowledge of the company that you were applying for.
Okay. And the person coming to the job, is there a need for them to research a company that they're interested in, so that when they give their 30-second elevator pitch, they could include?
For this job fair, not exactly. We have several employers that we haven't listed. We just kind of went along with the industry instead of listing the specific employer. But typically, if you were to go to a job fair, you will want to take the time and list and look at the list of employers that would be there. So you would be able to investigate and kind of research the company to know specifically. There's some tips and tricks to going to job fairs as well, that we will also discuss at the preparation workshop too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like job fair 101. It's like an entry job fair opportunity.
Oh, okay. Now, we mentioned the transportation, and you said there's is it Walmart
Yes.
and Target across the street from you, and you have observed that there is a bus that comes from, where would it come from? If you were trying to take bus transportation out there.
It is a smart bus. I'm not exactly
I see.
sure how the transit system will work out here, so how you would transition from DOT to smart and then make it out there. I haven't done that much research, but I do know it's a smart bus that's across the street.
Okay. So then those who are interested in taking the bus transportation to participate would call the smart company and obtain information from them as to how to get to Walmart and Target.
I think that would be the best route. Yes.
Okay, that sounds good.
We have a caller on the phone. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please? Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Happy Monday.
Hey, happy Monday to
Can
you.
you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, happy Monday. I wanted to ask the young lady, did she say it was on Plymouth near like Middle Belt, Merriman Road or something?
Yes, it's on Plymouth, right between Middle Belt and Merriman.
Oh, good. And I didn't write the date down. What was the date?
It is this Thursday,
Okay.
the 21st, from
The
10 a.m. to
21st.
2 p.m.
What time?
10 a.m. to 2
10
p.m.
a.m. Okay. Oh, good. Also, U.S. Ice Company has a great, huge sign on 8 Mile near Schaefer, and they're hiring for warehouse and drivers and warehouse workers.
Oh,
As U.S. Ice, I believe it's right there on 8 Mile and Monte Vista, but it's right near Schaefer, so you can't miss it. Going, let's see, what I say, east on 8 Mile side.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add that terror never left America. This is nothing new of them breaking up families and taking children away. We just have to, work harder at getting the right people in power to
Right.
get these policies changed to save people, not enslave people.
Right.
Thank you for taking my call. Love you all.
I love you too. Thank you for calling. And she is right. When Africans were stuffed in the bellies of ships like sardines and brought to this country, they found that their children and their loved ones, they were stripped from each other and enslaved. And it's interesting that the president is very careful not to compare and not to mention the fact that they're holding people in cages. They don't want folk to know that. But that's one of the things that is taking place. is sad, you know.
I was going to ask one thing, a couple of things. One, what is the age range again?
14 and up.
14 and up.
So now, does up include the 20s and maybe even beyond
Absolutely.
that? Okay. Now, I know I visited years ago Michigan Works here in Highland Park. So, do you guys kind of like network with each other? And I guess to follow up on that, is this open to anyone who's in whatever county, Macomb, Wayne, or Oakland?
So to answer the first question, the Highland Park office is actually one of our sister locations. We do partner with them. They are part of our network. So yes, we do partner with the Michigan Works. And then the second question is this event is open to the public. So anyone from anywhere is offered, we offer it to anyone. I've advertised as far out as Southgate to Canton, Detroit, Livonia, so yes.
Now, is this something that happens, like say at different Michigan Works? So you're hosting this particular job fair?
So every Michigan Works has the opportunity to host as many events as they would like. So this is our second annual Youth Job Fair, so we're hoping to have this be a long-standing event that the community can look forward to and expect every year.
Now, I know you said you couldn't speak of specifically people who were involved, businesses, corporations, et cetera, that type of thing, but could you give us a scope of the variety of jobs? Like we spoke about, let's say corporate, you don't go into a corporate thing with a jumpsuit and vice versa if you're going to be a high-low driver. So could you give us a broad scope of like maybe the different people or the different types of businesses, corporations, et cetera, that may be involved?
So we have retail industries involved. We have restaurant industry. We have manufacturing. We also have manufacturing. I think that's it for the most part.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it seems that somewhere along the way I read that the various Michigan Works, do you know how many of them there are?
There are several. There are several.
Okay. I know one is shut down. It was on Milwaukee, but there's currently one on Wyoming and Michigan Avenue. But anyway, I read that they seem to specialize in different areas. And this one that you're speaking of sounds that it would be a good opportunity for young people to learn. And even for those who are considering, as I mentioned earlier, opening their own businesses, they can get an idea of how it works with Michigan Works. So I just want to know if you have an idea of the other Michigan Works doing job fairs. Have they all had job fairs? You said this is your second one, so they've existed for quite a long time. That's why I was wondering if you know about other job fairs being organized.
So I know that the location it's in Dearborn. We call it Access.
Mm-hmm.
They've also had very large job fairs at the Dearborn Theater Center. So all of them are able to have job fairs. They can host their own events and organize and coordinate their own events. From my understanding, they do have job fairs. They have to have job fairs because we are an employment-based company. So our job is to eliminate barriers to employment. That's my motto that I give to my clients when I meet with them, is that if you need assistance with education, certification, training, finishing your high school diploma or GED, we can assist with that as well. If your issue may be child care or getting your driver's license and things like that, we can assist with that. Our goal mainly and solely is to eliminate all barriers to employment. And it's not just employment. And not to say that McDonald's isn't a great employer, but we may allow that to be your entry position as a 14 or 15-year-old. But we want to continue to see you progress. We want to continue to see you earn those credentials to go on and find a good, well-paying job that can give you those living wages.
Okay. The idea of training and accessing identification and GEDs. You mentioned earlier that they're, you said felony friendly.
Yes.
If a person has completed their sentence and they're out now, would they come to you for assistance with identification or, I don't know, driver's license or any other important ID they may need or certification they may need?
Absolutely. We're able to assist them and point them in the right direction to whatever resource that they may need to be able to obtain, those licenses and social security cards and work permits or anything of that nature. We'll be able to assist them in getting those paperwork.
Now that you mention that, it reminds me of young people who end up in the prison system, and some have been very young who don't have a social security number, or I should say access to their social security number, because today they tell me that babies can't leave the hospital or whatever without having a social security number. But there may be some young people who are finishing their time in jail, and so they would definitely need assistance getting that. David, you had a question?
We have a caller.
Oh, okay. Good.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
My name is Trista.
Thank you for calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Detroit area.
Uh-huh.
And my question is, because I'm 23, I'm trying to figure out, is there an age limit?
Is there what?
Age limit.
No. There's no age limit. There is the start is what is the age?
Age 14, we start hiring.
Age 14 and up. Age 14 and up.
Oh, okay. And then I heard about the transportation.
What?
Would that be like private
Transportation.
transportation?
All right, that's what we were talking about a moment ago. You would need to call the Smart Bus Company, Smart Transportation, to determine how you can use the Smart Bus to get out to, the best way to tell you is Kmart and Target Mall, because it's directly across the street from where the job fair is being conducted. The address is 30246 30246 Plymouth Road. 30246. That's the address of the job fair. Okay? And that's where you would want to go. And if the Smart Bus is the direct transportation to get there, across the street from 30246 is Walmart and Target. Those are the biggest landmarks you would need to find. And when you get off there, you walk across the street for the job fair.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I was going to add, too, that I think that there is, it's not that inconvenient. It's sort of like if you're going to a mall, let's say Fairlane, and with Walmart and Target being like the anchor stores there, they do make transportation available. But, of course, again, it's necessary for people to find out directly. But I've traveled in that area quite a bit, and there's a lot of people that go there. So I don't think it's that difficult to access it. It's just people have to be aware of it. Now, your office is actually, like you say, located across from Walmart Target area.
Yes.
I'm kind of familiar with that place because there's so many like open strip malls over in that area. That's why I say, I think it's very accessible, and there are buses that run there, but people have to kind of, I guess, be a little bit more familiar with, particularly those who would navigate or travel in that direction. Because Plymouth, I'm not really sure what the cutoff is. I think the bus stops may be at Plymouth and Telegraph, because that's when you go into the next city, which I believe is either Redford Heights or Dearborn Heights, something in that area.
You mean D-Dot?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Cut off
I haven't
Avita.
I haven't been on the bus in so long. I forgot what they were, to be honest with you. Yeah, but I think that there's a cutoff and then there's a pickup where people can access the smart bus and then go out there. Now, I know years ago, I don't know why I did it, but I visited Michigan Works because I'm sort of like a go-getter. I work 2, 3, 4 jobs. It's just like I like keeping active. And I know when I visited one, and you had mentioned like if, let's say for instance, someone has a child, so it's set up where let's just say in general, aside from the job fair, it's set up where if there's a young teenager with a child or something, you tend to accommodate a lot of different needs for people just to make sure that they have access to this type of thing. I don't know if you could give us kind of a broader picture, because I only went to the class like maybe twice as I recall, and I was doing it more out of curiosity than anything else. First, do you guys have a relationship with different employers where they, actually approach Michigan Works and say, we'd like to see people who are participating in your program? And so I would like you to answer that first, and then I'll follow up.
Okay. So at our location in all Michigan Works, they have what's called a BSR team, Business Service Reps. The business service representative's job is to go out into the community and work with the employers and create a network of employers that we then can refer our clients to. So once we enrolled you into our program, and there are different programs within our One Stop, but I'll answer the first question. So once we've enrolled you into our program, we then kind of vetted you in a sense. So we're able to say that this person has, her driver's license, or she has her credential, or she's working towards this credential, and then we're able to say she's a great employer. We've worked with her. She's gone through our workshops. She has a resume. She's built herself up, and she's employable at this point. So now that person, we would then kind of take the resume that we've created with them, and we would send it out and disperse it to all of our employees that are that she will want to apply to, he or she will want to apply to. And then they would then have interviews and then go off and find a job. So yes, we do create a network of employers that work directly with our clients.
Now, in terms of skill sets, I guess developing whatever you have or what you may lack. So how does it work, like in terms of, like you were speaking of GED, so let's say someone's not really proficient in English or certain things. How do you all work with them and help them navigate, to at least enhance the skills that they have to be able to build upon those for potential employment?
So we have a host of workshops that we offer weekly. We have an amazing instructor, Mr. Best. He is actually a college professor, and he works with those clients and he builds them up. So we test all of our clients before we enroll them into our program to see where they are. It's kind of like a marker exam. It's just math and basic reading. And so if you're at, for instance, 3rd grade math and 8th grade reading, then we will build you up to minimum 9th grade to then be able to pass you along to start your GED classes and begin your workshops. You can't really start high school equivalency testing if you're not at that level yet. So we want to meet you where you are, get you to where you need to be, and propel you right on out the door.
There was a question about child care. Is child care available through the businesses or Michigan Works, or
so we don't offer
something about that?
Right. So we don't offer child care at our location, and we don't have a group of employers that offer child care. What we would do is work with your local CDC office, so your Department of Human Services.
CDC, which office?
Well,
what acronym stand for? We got a lot of CDCs around here.
Child Care Development.
Oh, okay.
Child Care Development. So what would happen is we would work with your, we would encourage you to get the resource of going to your local Human Services Department or DHS, Department of Human Services, to then get a CDC case. So then we would be able to assist you in finding that child care that you're comfortable with sending your child to.
I find it interesting. Now, let me ask, what sources of media maybe have you used, like just to promote this particular event?
So last year, my promotion efforts were me going out into the community, dropping off flyers, thinking of different companies and churches and schools, doing presentations in the community, and we were able to reach over 500 youth came last year.
Wow.
Yes. And
Livonia?
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
from Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
We
Go
had
ahead.
over 700 people in our office with the parents dropping off and kind of helping facilitate with their child. So we reached over 500 youth signed into that job fair.
Wow.
So with the efforts of social media and me pounding the pavement, we were able to meet 500. So my hopes is with broadcasting to at least double that.
All right. I am so glad to hear that. Because when you said Livonia, and I'm like, oh, God, how they going to get there, you know. Transportation is always a serious issue in Detroit, you know, for Detroiters. When people try and get, not just for that, but to the doctor, to the grocery, Eastern Market. How do you cut off transportation at Eastern Market, you know? And now I'm hearing they I guess, going to start or have just started a bus that'll go there, you know, just like they're doing you a favor. Oh, God. Can't go to church. Buses don't run, you know. What can I tell you?
Now I've got another question. A lady called and she had asked about, you know, is there an age limitation? What I'm interested in is, you know, some employers just don't want to deal with older people. You know, like there may be people who have retired. Now, do you get into people in that age range as well?
So I am the recruiter for the youth program, but we
Okay.
also have an adult program in our office as well. So our adult career counselors are awesome. They work with retirees. They've worked with people with PhDs. They've worked with people that were laid off and had to start all over and were kind of older. So we are able to really assist anybody from any demographic with any challenges that they may have. Another good thing with our office is that we're called a one-stop because we're able to work with our partners within our office. So we also have MRS, Michigan Rehabilitation Services, in our office as well. We have the Veterans Affair as well. So we have vets as well in our office that we're able to work with. And then we also have the employment specialist. So if you are collecting unemployment and have unfortunately been laid off, you are able to go into our office as well, come into our office as well, and sign up and apply for your unemployment wages. So we are able to assist a host of people and connect with a lot of people because we have so many people in our office, and we can also refer you to those people if we feel fit.
You know, what's really interesting is how terms change over time. The welfare department is now known as the Family Independence Agency, and who knows what they'll change it to next. But there was a term, a test called the Moy test, which existed some years ago, and they're whatever they're calling it these days. It's to give to a person to find out what they may be interested in. You know, if you have a 14-year-old coming to you, they perhaps are on the computer all day long, but they may be good at, I don't know, fixing cars or building tables or birdhouses or something, which shows that they have a mechanical ability for one thing or another. Do you have a testing time, not to intimidate anybody, but just to find out where their interests lie?
So there's a program that we use called ONET. It's a interest-based, personality-based test. There's several different assessments on this program that can allow us to kind of figure out what your niche is. It allows you to understand what personality traits you have, what are your strong personality traits, and then how you can then transition those into a career and how to work towards those. Right.
Exactly. And it's called ONET.
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 Yes.
Okay. You know what that represents? What it stands for?
I have no idea, but we use it all the time.
That's a new one. Okay, so the Moy test is now known as ONET. ONET. You were gonna say?
I'm curious. One thing: are you a state agency?
Yes, we are funded through State of Michigan, Michigan Works,
Okay.
and then
And you also mentioned something about rehab. So, what is that? A little bit more in detail.
So Michigan Rehabilitative Services works with those people that have any type of disability, whether it be a physical disability, a mental disability, learning disability, any type of disability. They work with those people and kind of give them the tools that they may need. So a cool thing that Michigan Rehabilitative Services does that I think is awesome is that if a child goes to college and, say, for instance, they may have a physical disability that doesn't allow them to write, they have an ink pen that allows them to record their lectures, and then they can take them to class, and they'll provide that for the youth. So it's a lot of different things. They also connect youth with disabilities with a job coach. So, for instance, if someone may have autism or be on the spectrum to some degree, and they may not function well on their own and need that adjustment period, Michigan Rehabilitative Services is able to connect them with the resources they would need to be successful in employment as well.
That is really interesting, because last night a friend of mine told me that her girlfriend had twins, and one is autistic, and currently he is in college. And we've heard often that autistic children may excel in one area or another, and may be on a genius level for whatever that that area is. So that's wonderful that you do that. You're going to say?
It's interesting also, because I would ask you about the age. So is placement for people who have disabilities, whatever they may be, are there, I guess, employers who seek those? Because I imagine those are like maybe more manual tasks, with the exception of what Theo was saying in terms of people who have a proclivity towards a certain skill, whether it be math or something. But are you able to place them as well?
So a lot of times Michigan Rehabilitative Services, they have their own kind of network of employers that they work with. So a good example is that they create summer opportunities for youth at Embassy Suites, kind of doing housekeeping duties and things like that. But then they also will find, it's a case-by-case situation. They may find a youth that they're very optimistic about and think that would be a great replacement, but they don't have necessarily the network of employers that we would have. So then they will refer them to us, and then we would work with those youth one-on-one to get them employed.
Do you have a broad base of different businesses that deal with you? Because we spoke about manufacturing, office, and you just mentioned the hotel type of set. But is there a broad base of employers, and would they look at Michigan Works as like maybe a first stop in terms of, do they want to complement what you're doing by having, a relationship with you where they can bring in the people that you help to upgrade or uplift?
So the great thing about our program is that we're able to offer incentives to our employers as well. So being in our network is always a benefit for them. We offer paid work experiences to our youth, so I like to call them internships. So essentially you would work at these companies, and we would pay your wages. Not me, but we, meaning the company. They would pay their wages and their salary. So it'll allow the company to kind of receive the labor for free, but then it also allows for the youth to network and rub shoulders and get that experience and learn how to really, really operate in corporate America or in the workplace. And then our hopes after our paid work experience is over is that the employer has built a rapport with the youth or the client to where then they're able to actually hire them on full time. And that's happened several times.
What is the length of time that you cover the internship where the corporation is supposed to take over?
8 to 16 weeks.
Okay. All right.
I'm very happy. Again, I just did it out of curiosity years ago. It may have been maybe as long as 10 years ago, as I recall. Again, because I knew that there were, just from people who I spoke with, that there were a variety of things, because I wear a lot of different hats. Okay. I just kind of put it like that. So I approached Michigan Works for that same reason, trying to find out how I could access different people or employers or businesses that may be able to use the skills that I had. I really don't need another job, but somehow or another I just couldn't resist the fact that, well, let me just see what else is out there, that type of thing. But before I continue, I want to get this caller in. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Yes, I'm on, what is that, Channel 33.
Okay.
And my name is Burl. And
Thanks
I'm
for
asking a question. Are they temporary agencies that they're getting their jobs to?
No, we do work with staffing companies very loosely, but our network of employers are it is our BSR reps going out into the community and actually building a rapport with the employer and getting them to join our network.
So they're not temporary through a temporary agency is what I'm asking.
No.
The answer is no. No, the answer is no. They work with corporations who will allow the persons who come to that service to come into their corporations on a what you might call a trial basis, okay? And Michigan Works pays for either the first 2 months or the first 4 months, and the corporation then decides whether they want to keep that person or not. Is that clearer for you?
Yes, it is. But I was just wondering because it still like it's a temporary agency that's doing it.
There are temporary agencies that do that. Kelly Girls have been around for, I don't know what, 30, 40 years. There are temporary agencies around. But Michigan Works is a different process that is
Okay.
set up by the state of Michigan. Kelly Girls is private.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Now we're down to like maybe our last 4 minutes, so we're going to continue. Yeah, it does go fast.
Listen, I don't believe it. I ought to talk about this Black History Tour on Saturday, but go ahead. You got a question?
Well, what I was going to ask our guest, Mrs. Gordon, to do is just kind of give us all the details of what's going to come up, so that way people who may have tuned in late can have that information, phone numbers, websites, etc.
All right. So we are Michigan Works in Livonia. We're located at 30246 Plymouth Road, right between Middlebelt and Merriman. The job fair is this Thursday, the 21st, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We are offering resume workshops and job fair preparation workshops as well on the 18th today and tomorrow, the 19th. There are 2 different sessions, one from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and the next one from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
And the contact information.
Oh, our telephone number here is 734-793-6170.
Again.
734-793-6170.
And you mentioned a website also.
Yes, so you can follow us on Twitter at Livonia MI Works, or on Facebook at Livonia Michigan Works, the whole Michigan spelled out.
Now, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I think that we have covered the program and the process by which it works thoroughly enough for people to understand the benefits of dealing with Michigan Works as opposed to those temporary services, you know. Thank you again for that. Now, for these last couple of minutes, I've got to talk about this. This coming Saturday, June 23rd, Hood Research is doing a Black History Tour. Detroit history, Black history. Black history is American history. And this coming Saturday, we are going to gather at the Myers parking lot, which is on 8 Mile and Woodward Avenue. We will begin boarding the bus at 8 a.m. The bus will leave at 9 a.m. It is a 4-hour tour in the city of Detroit. The cost is $30. It includes a lunch, and we are going to learn about the locations of some of our people in history and the contributions that have been given, which represents the black community. And Hood Research this is the 4th Black History Tour that we have done. We've been to Canada, we've been to the Underground Railroad, we've been to Battle Creek, as I mentioned earlier, to meet Sojourner Truth, and now we want to learn about the city in which we live. Do you know what a ribbon farm is? That's something interesting. Did you know that Jesse Owens lived in the city of Detroit? Some of the things that people were not aware of. that Elijah McCoy, the real McCoy, I know you've heard that quote. Elijah McCoy lived in Detroit, had his business in Detroit where he came up with other inventions, and he worked at the Michigan Central Railroad, the railroad that has been sold to Henry Ford Corporation. They're going to have this big announcement tomorrow, but Michigan Central Railroad is where Elijah McCoy worked. I'm sad that we're at the end of this program because I found it very interesting today. But I like to say that it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you to help us all make better informed decisions. The Beatty.
As I always say, if you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished.
Yes. And we want you to call and RSVP if you want to participate in the Black History Tour on Saturday, June 23rd. And the telephone number of Hood Research is area code 248-234-2371. Again, it's area code 248-234-2371. We want you to tune in again next week and
stay tuned for Get in the Know with
Marley B.